sense amongst all the characters of like the stakes got so high, so fast, especially because now we all know. So there's this sense of, when you're caring for yourself and grown-ups, it's one thing, but when you're caring for an unborn child and the safety of that child, it's another. So I feel like the last final half of the second season just gets super high stakes, super dangerous, and everyone's kind of on hyper alert. So
super epic as well.
Yeah.
It's just like every episode. I mean, you think already so much has happened this season. We're halfway through the season. The second half is always going to be more and more and more. So yeah.
What was that like to have Waverly get to tell Wynonna at the end of the episode, guess what, I might not be an Earp?
I feel like it's been a long time coming for Waves. Like, we forget, like, a lot of time has passed since they had that conversation with Bobo that, like, really struck, a huge chord in her. One thing I admire so much about Waverly is when other people are in need and they need Waverly to be supportive of them, she puts her stuff aside, and that's like the most admirable thing. But also, as a kind of supporter of Waverly, I'm like, no, you need to also address the things that are close to you. So I'm so proud of her for finally telling her big sister and addressing
So Waverly and Nicole's relationship, like how are these stressors are they going to make it? They've had a kind of rough go of it this season with the whole possession and the black bag. So how is that going to affect them?
What are we allowed to say?
I think it's been tough because it's a new relationship. I think it's not very often that you get that many stressors on such a new relationship. So I think it's really showing kind of the strength of their bond and just how great the fit they are for each other, because they seem to be pushing through all of these really big obstacles and roadblocks.
Exactly, and they always come back together despite we have disagreements or whatever, like they're always striving to come together.
What's it been like having Wynonna and Nicole having more of that bonding time? Because they only had a few scenes last season.
It's so few and far between, but I really love working with Mel so much, and she's such as you guys know, she's an incredible actor, and I get really nervous when I have to work with her because I admire her so much. So it's definitely yeah. Do you feel that too?
Every single time
Okay, I go hold it. Super prepared, but I love the relationship between Nicole and Wynonna because I think there's this sisterly protection that Wynonna has, and they both care so much for the same person, which is Waverly, and so it's really fun to see that dynamic play out of that. Wynonna wants Waverly to be happy, but she's also like, you're my sister and I want to protect you, and I love it. I think it's such a fun dynamic.
And so real, it's so true. People that have siblings who understand that nobody's ever going to be good enough for your siblings. It's a hard dynamic to
So what sort of aunt is Waverly going to be?
The best. Auntie Waverly. I mean, just that phrase makes me go giddy. It's so cute. I think Waverly, it was the last thing that she was expecting. Obviously, I think it was the last thing that everybody was expecting. But Waverly always step up to the bar and she'll be starting knitting by next week. She'll take up knitting to make sure it's perfect clothing.
Is she going to be super protective?
You can imagine. Absolutely. She gets angry about them being drunk in a strip bar.
Emily's really stretched you this season. What's that been like having to really jump out of being the bubbly Waverly and then going into Waverly? Has it been pretty seamless for you to go in between so much?
We were talking about this last night at the party. I feel so fortunate that I was given so much more this year, and it really, really has pushed me. And even on set, I was saying to Kat, because it really was last year. I was in maybe 2-3 days a week maximum, whereas this year I was in every day, doing multiple scenes a day, and it's a very different skill being able to maintain that stamina. And sometimes you don't have as much time to prepare, and I like to prepare because I'm a planner. So not having that time sometimes made me feel a little bit out of my comfort zone. But I did my best, and I hope it kind of shows
so good. Isn't it amazing how to pull out. Like Dominique is so multi-talented, and I think it's just. I told you this last night.
I know, it's like having the same
But I love seeing her get to play all her strengths. It's amazing as a performer, and you're only seeing one side of her as an actor. And the fact that you now get to see her sing and dance, and you guys get to all see like how multifaceted of a performer she is.
Absolutely
It's
lucky.
awesome.
Like, I honestly don't think any other show would have done this. It's Emily Andrews, who was just like, I love you guys as people, let me incorporate things that you feel confident doing, or your strengths into the show to show the Earpers like how much, you know, you can do, which is very special.
It's fun that I think she's starting to write, because when they're casting in the first season, they're writing characters, they don't know who's going to play them. And now I think it's fun because in season 2 you could feel them writing for certain people, like you could just feel them.
Like last night with Kat in the bar, like her comedy timing is so good. And it takes a little while to discover those strengths and actually be like, okay, cool, we can put Kat in a very funny scene and it will work. You know,
It's fun. It's fun when that starts to happen, for sure.
Speaking of your strengths, that cheerleading. Was amazing. Is that in your background or was that learned for the show?
Well, I mean, it all crosses over, right? So I was the dancer, so I mean, it's basically just dancing with pom-poms in your hand. If we're honest. Choreography has never been a problem, so I went away with a little video and kind of practiced in my bedroom. It was just like, oh god,
You used to tell us that voice, right?
yeah, and yeah, and amended their choreography a bit, kind of. Hey, I remember showing the director and being like, is this gonna be okay? And he was like,
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
I'm pretty sure you broke the internet with that one.
There's been a few breaking the internet this year, I think.
Well, what has the fan reaction been? I mean, I've seen the show grown so much from season 1 to season 2. What are you hearing now that the show is firing as it is?
It really has gone up so drastically. The amount of people that seem to be watching the show is like double. It feels like, anyway, I don't know what you guys think, but it's just becoming more and more a bigger family.
I think because of Netflix too, it really exposed the show to people who maybe wouldn't have seen it otherwise, which is awesome. So it's like it's really nice that we're reaching kind of this new audience. Thanks, guys.